Afternoon, fellow on viewing this live press briefing of the Office of the Minority Leader. So today, I have called this emergency press briefing to deal with a matter that has come to the attention of the minority just this morning. Fellow Tobagonians, there's an issue that is concerning me in the space in Tobago at this time, and the conversation I want to have with you first and foremost has to do with what I deem our loyalty to Tobago over our loyalty to party. And the reason why I say this is because it appears that there are many persons willing to suppress, to put aside their principles in support of a party. Because in many ways, the very things and the very issues that many persons criticize the past administration for, today the same very persons are turning around and make excuses, defending and deflecting those very same things. And I continue to ask Tobagonians for us to put aside petty politics and let us stand up for what is right. Right must always be right, and wrong must always be wrong. And it matters who does it, which party, which color, but we must all see Tobago in everything that we do. And it is for this reason I want to take viewers back to the questions and answer segment during the last plenary sitting of the Tobago House of Assembly. Because in that sitting of the Tobago House of Assembly, what transpired was the Secretary revealing some very alarming information. One, about the budget of the Tobago Jazz or the Tobago Rhythm and Soul experience, and two, how that festival will be managed. So I just want to go over very quickly before we replay that interaction between Minority Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit, who asked the question, and the Secretary who responded. So this question was based on the following. It said, following a statement by the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited on March 8, 2024, indicating that the Tobago Jazz Experience will no longer be held effective 2024. Jazz Experience support would be given to private events being held during the traditional period of the Tobago Jazz Experience. Can the Secretary state the following? A, the reason for the shift in policy for the execution of a festival similar to the Tobago Jazz Experience under the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited for April 2025. B, the budget for the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival, and what profit does the Tobago House of Assembly expect to make? C, is the Secretary in agreement that the previous decision taken 9 months ago to cancel the Tobago Jazz Experience was short-sighted? So those three questions were penned to the Secretary, and just to go over the process. Every question that is submitted for answer by a Secretary, those questions are required to be submitted 21 days in advance. So in other words, a Secretary has almost 3 weeks' notice to prepare for questions and answer as per the standing orders. And therefore, a Secretary ought to have sufficient information to treat with any questions asked because of the time frame. So at this point, I will ask the producer to bring up that interaction between the Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit and the Secretary for persons who may have missed it, or to bring you up to speed with the issue at hand, which is the expenditure of the Tobago House of Assembly on this new festival that was announced, the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. So,
Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Part B of the question, what profit does the Tobago House of Assembly expect to make, was not answered. So,
Councillor Boris.
The Tobago House of Assembly will not be making a profit on this. The Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, in its agreement with the promoter, hopes to realize profit from this event. They have not requested any additional funding from the Tobago House of Assembly to supplement their allocation for the hosting of this event. That $9.3 million budget that I indicated previously is being sorted in terms of financing through alternative financing mechanisms, gate receipts, and sponsorship. So once the event is completed and all the calculations are done, there is a strong possibility that profit will be realized, and that profit will be realized and go to the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited.
Minority Councillor.
thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Does the Secretary care? We are asking, Madam Presiding Officer, who is the private partner, the private promoter that is engaged in this project with the Tobago Festivals Commission?
Councillor Boris.
Madam Presiding Officer, I do not have that information at hand, but it can be provided subsequently.
Minority Councillor.
Madam Presiding Officer, it is quite appalling that the THA is...
Members. Minority Councillor question.
Madam Presiding Officer, it is appalling that the division and the Tobago Festivals Commission is putting out $9.28 million, and the Secretary is unaware.
Question, Minority Councillor.
Madam Presiding Officer, what is the sick? How soon, Madam Presiding Officer, will the information come to the minority and the people of Tobago for their hard-earned
Councillor Boris.
Madam Presiding Officer, I didn't hear questions to answer. And me not having the information at hand is because it was not asked. I came here prepared to answer the question as laid out in the order paper. The order paper does not state who is the promoter, who have we done this public-private partnership with. So if it is that the minority has a question to ask, they can go through the process, put it on the order paper, and I'll be happy to provide the information. I just simply stated that I do not have the information at hand, and I have no issue providing that information to the minority councillor at a date and time of your choosing, Madam Presiding Officer.
Can this information be provided on or before the next sitting, please? Thank you.
Benoit and Secretary Tasha Boris. And what you would have witnessed there is specific to question B that asks the budget for the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival and what profit does the Tobago House of Assembly expect to make. For the first time, it was publicly revealed that not only was the Tobago House of Assembly pumping over $9.38 million into this event, but also that event was a partnership between the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited and a private promoter. So the CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited made a number of appearances speaking about this event. And at no point in time before this question was asked, was the people of Tobago informed that this event involved the input of a private promoter. And therefore, without prompting it was the Secretary of Tourism who brought this information into the public space. And I'm sure you will agree that by any reasonable person, as a matter of follow-up, after finding out for the first time that this event includes a private promoter, would want to know who is this private promoter? And if you are a secretary on top of your job, preparing to respond to a question like that, where you are the one who are bringing to the public's attention for the very first time that this event involves a private promoter, you would think that logic suggests the next reasonable question that would come after you put that information into the space is, who is this promoter? Yet clearly, based on the Secretary's response, you are seeing an unwillingness to provide that very simple answer. And it seems as the Secretary is playing smart, or was playing smart, with foolishness. And I just want to take you to the standing orders of the House, because the Secretary is telling the councillor that, in other words, for me to provide you with this answer, you need to file another question and wait another 21 days to get another answer. But the Standing Order 26.2 of the Tobago House of Assembly legislators clearly states, after the answer to a question, supplementary questions may, at the discretion of the presiding officer, be put for the purpose of elucidating the answer given orally. So we have an agreed arrangement where for every question asked, the presiding officer will facilitate 3 follow-up questions. And therefore, if you are preparing to give a response, you must also prepare to give 3 follow-up answers that are within reason. And once the presiding officer allows that question, it means the presiding officer, by reason, sees it as a fair response to the information given for clarity. And therefore, the presiding officer allowed that follow-up, which asked, who is this private promoter? And it is clear that this secretary attempted to duck and hide and deny you, the people of Tobago, from finding out who this private promoter is. Because I cannot for the life of me understand, by any sense of reasoning, that you would have engaged in a relationship, an agreement with someone, and you, the secretary who is responsible for approving $9.3 million, going to that person, does not know who that person is. So it's either the secretary believes Tobagonians are fools, or that she's above board. She's so arrogant, she's above board to respond to the people of Tobago. I'm asking today, where is the transparency that was promised? But more than that, the reason why I call this press conference is to respond specifically to a press release coming out from the Division of Tourism. And in this press release, attacking a media house for carrying the truth. Because what the media house reported was exactly what transpired in the house, which was a question was asked, the secretary failed to answer, and of course, minority counsel, within her rights, expressed her disappointment at this secretary denying the people of Tobago a right to get to know exactly who is this private promoter. So the secretary, in her response, as part of chastising the media house, goes on to say, and this is the part I want to read for the people of Tobago. Consequently, the THA itself is not profiting directly from the event. However, the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, as part of a partnership agreement with the promoter, stands to benefit financially and, of course, the wider tourism ecosystem from a successful event. Before that, the Secretary also informed that the article claims that the Tourism Secretary failed to disclose the identity of the private promoter involved in the upcoming festival. She said, this is categorically false. You saw the clip, you heard her response, yet the Secretary is saying the media misrepresented the fact that she did not disclose the identity. On that clip, did you hear her tell anyone who the promoter was? Yet the Secretary is saying that the media basically misrepresented her. More than that, the Secretary also goes on to say, while the order paper questions did not specifically request details about the promoter, the Secretary committed to providing the information to the minority councillor and, hear this part, and delivered on this promise within the hour via her office. Fellow Tobagonians, you hear lie? That piece of information is a big fat L-I-E lie. As I speak to you here now as minority leaders, we are still waiting on receipt of a response from the Secretary, and we did all our checks with the office of the clerk, and up to this point in time of us holding this press conference, the clerk flatly denied receiving any communication that treated with any response from the Secretary. And what is curious as well, if that information was passed to the clerk, as the Secretary is claiming, we sat in that sitting from 1:30 p.m. on Thursday, all the way up to about 9:30 p.m. on Thursday. And usually any correspondence that are provided to the clerk as supplemental, those would be immediately circulated upon receipt. The clerk is on record as confirming he has not received any communication, not by hand, nor by email. So who did the Secretary give this correspondent to? And where is this correspondent that the Secretary claims to have submitted 1 hour after the question was asked? So not only is the Secretary chastising the media house and claiming that the media house misrepresented her when she did not produce the name of the promoter, but this Secretary has gone even further as to bring the office of the clerk into disrepute by claiming that she had submitted this information to the office of the clerk. And the office of the clerk is on record as saying they have received no such information. So, fellow Tobagonians, this is quite shocking. This is quite alarming. This is quite concerning that we have someone who have sworn by oath to represent truth, transparency, accountability. And here in a press release, she is claiming to have submitted documents to the office of the clerk, to which the office of the clerk is refuting to say they have not received. Tobagonians, this matter Tobagonians, this matter Tobagonians, this matter they can't pay people because they don't have no money. They can't buy medication in the hospital because they don't have no money. They can't even because they don't have no money. People are being paid late almost every fortnight. CPEP is being paid late because they don't have no money. But you are giving $9 million to someone and you don't want to tell Tobagonians who that person is. What is it? What is there in this individual to hide? Why are they so ashamed to reveal the identity of this individual? Where is the transparency that they promise? Where is the accountability? Why in Tobago the new modus operandi is that we have to beg and we have to force them, we have to take them to court to find out information that should be relatively easy to share with the public. This opens up so many other questions because we are being told in the press release by Festivals Commission, in one breath, the secretary seems to give the impression that the THA is not directly involved in the management of this festival. Because she's saying we are just giving this funding and it appears this promoter will manage the events. But Festival Commission is telling us a different story in their press release. Festivals Commission is saying to us that the promoter's role is that he presented a business proposal for a reggae icon, Buju Banton, to perform in Tobago. And the promoter's involvement is to arrange and secure this artist who will be compensated for his performance. So again, the secretary is saying no, the promoter is the one who is basically producing the show and we are simply providing them with financial assistance. That is the impression if you listen to her response. But Festivals Commission is saying it is the other way around. We are producing the show and the promoter is simply assisting us by procuring, by getting this artist that we are interested in. And therefore, if that is the arrangement, what has changed from what went before in the Tobago Jazz Experience? How is this arrangement, if we are to believe the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, different from what transpired before? Because as you know before, the THA would have been the one who would have produced the Tobago Jazz Experience, putting in all the financial inputs. Of course, they would have worked with agents to secure artists. But the THA carried the brunt of the festival. And in this situation, Tobago Festivals Commission is telling us basically it's the same arrangement happening. But the secretary on the other hand is telling us something else different is happening. It is now a private-public partnership. So who are we to believe? And if we are to believe the secretary, how did they accept this proposal? And is it now the policy of the THA that any random person can come with a proposal and expect to get almost $9 million in hand? And what about the Tobagonian promoters who also are interested in producing events? Will they too be able to benefit from over $9 million? And this is why I guess they are afraid to tell us who is the promoter. Because true to form, this administration continues to put Tobagonians last while they put others first. And perhaps this promoter has absolutely no connection to Tobago. And because they know this failing Tobago People Party continues to fail Tobagonians, perhaps this is the reason why they are so reluctant to tell Tobago who is this promoter. Because we know in the Tobago space there are a number of promoters interested in doing events. And as I close, I really want, this is not a bash on the event itself. Because like many Tobagonians, I was excited when I heard the lineup of this event. I was quite pleased as to the way the event was being marketed. Of course, I had my concerns as to whether it should have been at a slower period if you're investing this kind of money, whether you use a slower period rather than a period that is already busy and naturally would attract people. That was my concerns. But I had absolutely no issue with the event itself, except what was reported by answer by the secretary. I became very interested in the response when for the first time, because I don't think any other Tobagonian in the public space would have been privy to the fact that this festival was in fact being partnered with a private person. And therefore we asked a simple follow-up, who is this private person? Only to now realize that the secretary continues to dodge, hide, and weave, just simply to tell you Tobagonians who is the person benefiting from your very scarce $9-point-something million. And to back it up, the real concern I have at this time is the fact that the secretary would so blatantly, callously, connivingly, deceptively misrepresent documents claiming that it was sent to the office of the clerk within an hour, and the office of the clerk has absolutely no records, zero of those documents being handed back, not by hand directly, nor by mail. And therefore, the final recipient, who are the minority council and the minority leader, we also have absolutely no records of those documents. So why would the secretary so misrepresent the information? Why would the secretary misrepresent the information? Why is she so reluctant to provide the name? What is the specifics of this agreement? Because now we are getting more curious and more curious about this arrangement. We need to see this agreement. What is this agreement? What are the terms and conditions of this agreement? What is the percentage share of profit that the THA would get in return for their $9.5 million investment? What is the return on investment? Because it cannot be the very reasons you are giving me as the trickle-down effect, when that in essence was the purpose of the Tobago Jazz Experience, which you cancelled. The Tobago Jazz Experience was not directly to make profit, but it was to ensure that you create the environment so that your stakeholders in the tourism industry especially would be able to have business and be able to make money during that period. So, but if you said that you were getting away from the jazz because it wasn't profitable, why would you now go into an arrangement where you're again not making profit? So will the secretary make this agreement public? And finally, will the secretary do the honorable thing and resign her position based on so blatantly? It is documented here. This time she can't blame the media, because even with video, you are chastising the media where you fail to produce a response. But now on paper, here it is, the secretary is saying a categorical false. She's saying that this statement by the media was categorically false and giving the impression as though she complied and gave a response. When today, 72 hours later, the clerk nor the office of the minority leader have any record of this information being supplied. So therefore, I call on the secretary, given this blatant fat lie, to do the honorable thing and resign her position as secretary in disgrace. At this point, I will take any questions if there are any, but just to reiterate to the people of Tobago that this secretary placed on public record information that appears to be completely false, inaccurate, and brings the office of the clerk into disrepute. And in so doing, having been shown to be so flagrantly wrong, this secretary should do the honorable thing and resign. So I think this matter is very clear, and therefore I want to thank the members of the media for tuning in. I want to thank all of Tobago for tuning in. And as we continue to reiterate to our people of Tobago, because I know there's a desire to always be partisan, even when the information is so clear, even when the issue is so wrong, we tend to want to look at the messenger and shoot the messenger. This today isn't about Kelvin. It is about a secretary under pressure to give truthful information has once again been found wanting, has once again misled the people of Tobago, and therefore this unacceptable behavior should be called for what it is. I thank you. Have a blessed day, everyone, and may God continue to bless each and every one of us. Thank you.